Hello, hello, hello. I'm Lynn Broder, and I paint a lot of flowers. I have a son, Owen, who is 11, and he helps me paint the backgrounds with a hand-over-hand method, working on his fine motor skills. And then I paint the rest. And in my mind, I'm going to try something a little different today. But as if you've watched any of my other videos before, I generally change my mind or something doesn't quite go according to plan, or it changes so even like right now, see, this is what happens a lot. I don't line up my leaf with what I'm thinking I'm doing, but that's okay. We are going to adjust. I have it in my mind that I want to make a whole bunch of flowers and then paint some lines in here with black. Now, that's what I'm thinking at this point. And see, I've already dropped. That is the other thing that happens to me a lot, because I put yes, I was about to do it again. Way too much paint on my paintbrush. And this is what happens when that happens. But that's okay. We, again, will get there when we get there. So right now I'm just adding, and that's always the thing, is this at some point will be changed or covered or adapted into something else at some point. And that's just how it goes. And I think I'm a little sleepy and delirious, and probably if you've watched any of my other videos, you say, that is not any different, Lynn, and you would be correct. I tend to stay up way too late, and I never seem to sleep at the right times. They always say, when you have a baby, sleep when the baby sleeps, which, if you've had a baby, that's not one of the things that generally happens. And they say that as well because my son doesn't sleep a lot. So, here I am not sleeping. But it's just part of life. It's part of life. I don't know why, but I've never been a great sleeper. Some of the things that I've learned with my son's diagnosis, I could easily, I was never diagnosed, but I could easily see where that would happen, or is part of my, could have, would have, maybe, should have, I don't know, any of those. I'm deciding to amp this one up a little bit because of, first of all, the leaves. I like certain words, and I like to say them over and over again, and leaves is one of them. And if you hadn't figured out, I say that incorrectly, but I just needed to adapt a little bit there. And one of the other things that you have, if you haven't watched any of my other ones, you've missed me saying I like to watch paint dry. And you can go back and catch me saying it 1,000 times, because I love watching paint dry. I don't know why, except for the fact that I love how paint changes and how, like, the colors will just kind of fade or get brighter or mush together. And that's all exciting to me. That was, wait till you see it. My arm's in the way. Which you really probably can't see, but I about made a mess over here. Because I like to have too much paint on my paintbrush. That is probably my top problem. I can't seem to keep it under wraps. Let's see, I put that green leaf there, and as you can tell, it didn't last long. It's kind of hidden under there. But again, you know what I'm gonna say. That's okay. It's okay. Whatever happens, happens. And see this one over here. It's about to go under. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. We'll see. Oh, I'm kind of like a fly on the wall. I'm tired, and so I'm probably not even making much sense. For whatever reason, I cannot convince myself this week I write every day, and I write about our journey with autism, and so I've been writing for over 10 years every single day. It's now actually probably almost closer to 14 years, but long time. And so when my son was diagnosed with autism, I started changing my focus to writing about autism instead of just writing random things. And so I have changed, I've taken what I write and published a book, 365 Days of Autism, from my story and of autism, my emotions and how we work together as a team, trying to get, just things for him, just him to understand and him to kind of, it's a lot for him to process. It's a lot for me to process, and hoping and praying all the time that things just, mush together for him. I don't know what the right word is, but that we can continue to work on his fine motor skills and his emotions, my emotions, because I always say that autism is as much about how I handle it as it is about Owen having him. Because, expectations are hard, and when you have expectations of what your loved one can do or is going to do or will do, any of those things, it's hard. And as when I was younger, we would go to the doctor, and they would have us fill out those forms that says, my child is 2 years old, and these are the things that the child is supposed to do. Click off the ones your child does. Well, that's hard because my child isn't doing those things. And the emotions, it still brings tears to my eyes because, the emotions, the expectations that you have and that are being set in motion from what you do or don't do, it's a lot to process. And when you think through all of what happens, you want the best for your child, but they're giving you this paper that says they have to meet this expectation, or they should be meeting this expectation. And I am just trying to get through the expectation of the meeting, the appointment for whatever reason it is, or just answering those questions just brings all forms of emotions. And so that's one of the things that I'm learning to kind of build on and let go of and deal with, and because it's not just one moment in time. It's an over the lifetime for both of us. And it's my heart just goes out to him, because him processing, him figuring it out, him dealing with how everyone wears clothes, and he gets upset if people aren't in blue pants. And so we spend a lot of time dealing with trying to work with emotions on blue pants and more blue pants, and working with different therapists and what they encounter and what they think. And it just he's got so much to go through with just every little bit, and it something that would take me 1 time, 2 times, 10 times can take him to learn, can take him 30, 50, 100, but yet there's things that he learns just instantly. And so that's the process, and finding what he loves to do and finding what can help him grow. That's my goal. That's what I want to do, is find those things. And we're getting there. We are getting there. The doctors told me he might not talk. And not only does he talk, but he talks in many languages. I can't even begin to tell you how many languages, because I don't know. I honestly, he can't answer that question. He can't say, I speak in, these languages. And so we just go for it. And I know the ones that he understands to some degree, or he kind of can either talk or listen. And it's amazing. It's truly an amazing gift. And that's the goal. That's the goal, is to find the things that my child loves, that he thinks are fun, that he thinks are extra cool. And that's where we go from there, That's what we do. I'm not as excited about this one as I am about that one. So we'll see how this goes. I may not, I may just do a couple to add some extra. I may have to go back and add a little of the teal. I think it might just be too stark on me, since I'm not used to it. But maybe that's why I should leave it. I don't know. And you can see, maybe you can't, but this is pretty thick, and there were some areas in there that were extremely thick as well, and that makes a difference with how the paints kind of move together. I think I'm going to learn my lesson and not paint these lighter ones, and just kind of go from there. We'll see. I'm just doing this because I'm trying to stretch my boundaries, my thought process on how I paint. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is just giving it a little extra, I don't know, textra. See, that's the technical term, textra. I'm giving it some textra. So I need to see. I don't necessarily know that this needs to go completely away. I just want it to kind of like blend a little more than what it was. I think a thinner version of this would have like made my brain a little bit happier. So I think this will be good to just kind of lighten the load a little. Can still be there, but I kind of like that. Trying to, even this one was a little bit bright for me in certain areas, and it's just leaking down that way. It's a learning experience, like everything. Like, now I just said I don't know if I wanted it all like that, but I'm feeling like if I can just do a little bit, we'll see, it's going to be thick again. Just kind of some random, not as stark or not as much on there. And maybe that would kind of just add a little something, I don't know. We shall see. That's always my answer or question or thought process. We shall see. There's noise outside and I can never determine if it's going to rain or if it's a noise. Okay, that's making me a little happier now. Now I'm torn because I feel like I don't like this one. I can kind of go in here and do just a little so that it has something as well. But I'm trying to decide if I leave this one or if I go ahead and keep going with the process, because if I don't do it, it may look like I like forgot it, but then it's also like I did it on purpose or some other scenario in time. But I think I'm just gonna add a little since I'm experimenting. Might as well just do all the experimenting that I can. So I think that's what we're doing. Okay. Now I think I'm done. I'm gonna put a little bit of this here, and there's a dot right here. Now I could go back and put lots of dots, but I think I'm just gonna I can use the paint I used and mush it back in because I've got to fix this spot over here anyway. So O for Owen, and then L, oops, wee, L and B. And I always, this is like the foundation of why I paint. Owen is why I paint, so make sure that he is on here. Now, if you've watched before, this is my paint blobs, and so I spread this out so that I can make my paint blob jewelry, magnets, whatever. I do a little bit of both. So, and then, oh, that's going to be kind of a camo-y look one, and this area. But I just push this out and it'll dry. And I'll show you what I make. So, this just gets all pushed out. That's like just as much fun as the painting, because I just mush it all around. I don't want to get my paint brush. But these are paint blobs. This spins, but the when that dries, this is in between two glass things, and I put that in there, and there's different, I'll be making keychains and necklaces, and eventually I'll have this on my website when I get, but I've got tons of those, so that's what the dried paint goes to. So there we are, and I thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your night. Toodles!